We sell your items online. Go ahead, declutter your life. Have a yard sale or let eBay do the work. From the thrift store shopping to that wallet popping. There are two things in life that are certain. Deathpiles in Texas. Deathpiles in Texas. With Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley.
Well, Mr. D-Roy, it is great seeing you, even though I'm only catching bits and pieces. You're kind of in that camouflage today.
Well, I got to blend into my surroundings. That time of year where you got to be on the hunt, you got to be on the lookout. There's, treasures to be found down at the stores, and I got to be quick, and you got to be stealthy. And so I wear the camouflage, and
You're like the Flash. You just go there.
But it's not your traditional camouflage.
You're not your traditional kind of guy.
Exactly. So, no, this is. I came straight from work. This is what I wear to work. This is me in all my glory.
The hard-working man.
It's hard-working man, but it's a busy season. It's good in some ways, in other ways, I don't know. Right after Thanksgiving, it's like my work picks up for my real work. I have to do a lot more work. And my eBay stuff and all the online stuff picks up, and I'm doing a lot more on that too, which is cool. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but you go home. The other night, for example, I came home. I started packing stuff, and it was a lot of stuff. And my wife she worked late, so she stayed up at her mom's house, and she usually takes all my stuff for me to the mail. And so I'm like, man, I gotta be up in the next morning. I gotta drive up to work, and this stuff has to get delivered. So I decided, well, I'm just going to drop it off myself. But I had to go to a place that had the big dumper because we're talking
lots of
several items. And the bigger items, things I've been selling. So I drive up to Provo, which is a good clip. I'm like, well, if you're going to do it right. So it's probably 40 miles or something, about 45 miles north if you listen to my other podcast. That makes sense to you. If you don't know what I'm talking about. And I get there, and I'm filling up their big dumper, and I jam the dumper.
Oh, no.
And so I still got 2 packages.
Uh-oh.
And we're talking a couple of these toys were, good size items. I had some NBA game-worn shoes that I have. There's some big items that are going out. And I'm like, there's no way I'm just going to come back tomorrow for 2 items. So I had to drive another 5 or 10 minutes up the road to Orem and put it in their dumper. So I spread out the love, and then I came home and got me an Arby's sandwich and went to bed, basically.
It sounds like kind of what you're doing. It's a lot of work right now, but I believe you're going to be counting a lot of Benjamins here.
Oh, it's definitely paying off, and here's the thing about it too. I don't know. Maybe I should just share the item, but we'll talk about it afterwards. I found an item back in October, and I started loading up, and I got lucky. I got to Walmart, and there was just a shelf of these things. I just cleared a house, 13 or 14 of them. Right now, I'm down to 2, I think. I sold 2 more today, so I'm basically out of stock, but I'm still going to be looking for them. And, I'm selling them for, $50 to $60 more than what they cost. And there's different models, but that's not bad. And they're going as quick as I can put them up. I've had a lot of luck. I tried out Macari. I was kind of off Macari for a little bit and just buying, but with these I was cross-posting, and so I put them up on Macari, and they were going pretty good on Macari, and then eBay started to pick up right after Black Friday, so I thought, well, I'm going to try the Facebook Marketplace. Because we've had, I have a long history past with that. And it was up for a day and a few snide comments. And somebody said, oh, I want it. I said, okay. But it doesn't let you. So what I used to like to do is you put in the comments. And, yeah, you get in fights or whatever, but keep your thing at the top. Now, when you put in a comment, it just sends the person a direct message. So I had somebody that said something, and I sent a comment to them, and it went directly to them, and it wasn't in the page, which I guess avoids the big fights and blow up, except for they can write whatever crap they want to say to you, and then you can't respond. So, anyways, I'm kind of backing off the Facebook Marketplace, but Macari stepped in for that. And, I am paying a little more in fees and shipping or whatever, but the hassle and the headache and the BS that you're dealing with, I'm offering the same price, and one place I'm a criminal, and the other place I'm a saint. So,
can I share with you something that I got an update on your Facebook Marketplace?
You bet.
So, me and my buddy Zucks, we're kind of tight.
Who?
Zuckerberg. Mark,
Zucks.
the guy who started Facebook, you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Zucks.
That adds up.
Anyways, you know how like back in the day, like in the early
You know,
90s,
I really am friends with like Gary Vanderchuck and stuff. And you throw out names, and people are going to think that you're really they're discredit my friendships. I don't know.
Okay, hold on. This is my story then. You know, like back in the early 90s, back when you could write checks everywhere, and what would happen is there would be like the board next to the cash register, like, do not accept a check from this guy.
Like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes.
Little Jerry.
Zucks kind of told me that's what happened with you in the Facebook marketplace, especially in the central Utah type area.
I was cashing bad checks.
That you were on the list. Like, they put your name on the list and says, Derek cannot be dealt with because he creates too much of a stir. He angers too many people. We're just not going to do it.
If that was the case, I mean, if that was the case, Facebook wouldn't be there because your uncle is writing all sorts of things that's creating controversy. And that's to everyone out there. Everyone's got an uncle that's just, crazy.
Or a brother-in-law.
Yeah, exactly. So you got some family member that you probably saw at Thanksgiving that conversation went awry and then it made its way to Facebook. So I think your buddy Zuck kind of likes that kind of thing. I think he kind of likes that controversy creates cash.
I can't even say that without, he's done a lot of interesting things in the world.
He's a different guy. The old metaverse is coming out.
Yeah, the metaverse. Heard a lot about that. So
yeah, I'm surprised you don't have a meme and a Bitcoin and an NFT token. I did
just see you can buy virtual real estate now as NFTs.
You better get you somewhere by the lake.
So the saying, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona. If you'll buy that, I'll throw the gold in it free. Apparently, George Strait was well ahead of his day.
You can have you a place up on the moon
because now you can buy virtual real estate.
Here's the weird thing
in the metaverse.
So, I get a lot of weird targeted ads because I'm looking up a lot. I scan a lot of things. I talk about a lot of things. I buy certain things. So the internet doesn't know whether I'm an 80-year-old woman or like a 17-year-old boy. Like I'm all over the place. They're like little kid toys to like professional wrestling, action figures, whatever.
Catheters.
So I get a lot of weird,
colostrum.
So they always try to get these targeted ads to me.
Honey.
A lot of weird things. But the other day I saw this ad came that you could buy like a foot by foot square anchor of Scotland. And you can become a lord of Scotland. And I guess I looked into it because I'm like, because they can't, how's this legit? Apparently it's like some forest it's how they preserve land is like, if they buy it, then it's privately owned and they can maintain it as wildlife refuge or something like that. Not a horrible idea, but I just thought, there's somebody doing that. Or there's always the buy a star, name it after somebody. How do you know they haven't sold the same star 20 times to somebody?
You can buy ownership of the Green Bay Packers.
You can buy stock in the Green Bay Packers.
So they just raised $300 million, and you get nothing for it. It's just a piece of collectible
that you can't sell.
Yeah, you can't sell, and you have no voting rights. You have nothing. It's just
so where that is owned by people, though. So the city of Green Bay does own the Packers. How does that work? Because somebody in there has to have control. How do you get to be a controlling member of the Green Bay Packers?
You know people, and you have that text message from Brett Favre. You just know.
I didn't know so well. Apparently, Brett Favre's been on welfare fraud. Have you seen this?
I have seen this.
I mean, he had a few other scandals. Apparently, if you're a quarterback at Green Bay, you're just going to have some scandals. That's just going to come down the pipeline. But Brett Favre, don't be stealing from the welfare people. I'll say that. I'll go on record. And don't send texts to your masseuses.
Apparently,
two things that I can clearly say Brett shouldn't do.
Not two things that are certain. These are just two pieces.
Two alleged things that happened.
No, I think it's kind of like an ownership type group. They have a sitting CEO, a board members, and that's how they vote in. I don't know. Frank, why didn't you ask Frank those questions?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
things you should have done.
Things you should have done, Derek.
Then how's the revenue get shared to the city? There's got to be some sort. There's money somewhere in this.
The problem is like all NFL things, it's not publicly traded, so they don't have to disclose financials. So there's a lot of things I'd like to know financially about things.
If you're in Green Bay or the Wisconsin area, at Derek Everitt on the Twitter or wherever, let me know how all this works. I am curious.
I'm fascinated. Those kind of things definitely fascinate me. I financial sports related items, and it's a ton of money. I mean, buku bucks. We won't get too deep dive into that, but there's been a lot of dollars and cents that have been thrown around here in the last week and a half.
Yeah, a lot of that's going on, and it's getting to be the end of the year, Adam. It's your time to shine. Remind our people. There might be people first year into the taxes. I know you're full of it, so let them hear what needs to happen with your taxes.
I am full of it, and I appreciate that segue there, D-Roy. Just had two people today again.
Just like the scooter.
Oh, hell. Going back into it, like I said, it is tax time. It's getting closer. You know, you've only got another 30 days to sell. By the time you get this, it'll be less. And this is the evergreen, because no matter what time of year you're listening to this podcast, you're still going to have to file your taxes. So important thing is get your numbers in order. Unfortunately, a lot of people that are really good at selling online, they know their numbers. People always know what they bought something for. It's always, kind of that, yeah, I bought it for this and I sold it for this. But they don't know the numbers in between, shipping supplies, eBay fees, because that's constantly changing. You might go from eBay to Amazon to Mercari to Bonanza or Poshmark. There's so many different variables of selling. Your travel expenses, listening to, training videos, all those kind of things. Those are all expenses that you want to know about this time of year, because taxes are like a double-edged sword. You always want to make a lot of money, but come tax time, you want to say you made as little of money so you don't have to pay a lot in taxes. And that's really what you try to figure out is the best avenue to make that happen. There are some really good spreadsheets, training videos. I know we talked about this, the Not Your Dad's CPA. He's got some really cool training courses for online retailers, some really good tools and ins and outs to really help get those spreadsheets in order. You can also do simple things on Google spreadsheets. I totally encourage a separate bank account and a separate credit card. D-Roy, how much better has your life been since I told you to do that?
Oh, it's just simpler because okay, this is business and this wasn't. It's black and white, night and day. This is this is that.
Because before you had a lot of intermingled funds.
I had fungibles. And a lot of fungibles.
And I know we just talked about the internet not knowing you, and when you're buying weird and obscure things.
Well, especially if you're doing retail arbitrage, or you're going down to Walmart, or even you're buying stuff on eBay or Amazon for your personal use, and you're buying stuff to sell. So I have, $200, credit card receipt from Walmart on one credit card. I'm like, was that stuff I bought to resell, or was that stuff I bought for groceries?
And it's always hard to tell, especially when you're months and months behind. It's like, it's really funny because I deal with a lot of people as far as doing their accounting stuff. We take care of a lot of businesses, month to month, going through the transactions. You would be shocked at how many times we have to talk with a client of saying, hey, you wrote this check and it had a lot of zeros, like 6-digit type things. What was that for? Oh man, I don't remember. What was that for? What do you mean? You just wrote an X amount of dollar check and you don't remember what it's for? That's what happens. Even it doesn't matter. People forget. They don't know what it is, even if it's got a lot of zeros behind it, or if it's $200 or $300. You just
months down the road, it's we don't really dwell on the past. We're moving on to the next big thing. And if you try to tell me what did you buy this for back in March or whatever, or last January, that's a great question.
Yep.
And that's about where it ends.
That's usually where it goes. So that's the big encouragement right now. Looked at those. If you have any questions or you want us to help, like I said, just reach out to us on our website, adamupaccounting.com. We're happy. We've got a message thing. We're happy to answer some things. If you are making the big bucks, your net income is north of 60, 70, 80,000. You're definitely going to want to set up an S corporation. That'll save a large chunk of change in self-employment tax. We're talking saving between $8,000 and $20,000 in taxes, and that's a big chunk of change that I'm sure you'd rather keep than help fund some of these programs that the IRS
If not, I'll throw this out here. I will pay for that to take place, and you just give me your savings. If you're not really concerned about the money, like I am, I'll pay for your S corp through Adam, and you just give me the savings and your taxes, whether that's 8 or 10. We'll round it down, whatever. But you go ahead and send them my way.
What a guy! You're a much better person than I am. Can I share with you one downfall? This might cause a little ruckus here, D-Roy.
Yeah, I ruffle them feathers.
Oh, so I hadn't eaten all day.
Looks like it.
I know. I was withering away, and I had to run home, do a couple things, get back here in time, and I decided to stop and get some tacos. And I knew you were going to be here, and I may or may not have got you some tacos. And if you notice, they are not here now because
you ate my tacos. I can't blame you.
But
you were hungry.
I was hungry.
Your intention and your heart was in the right place.
I did, and it wasn't even the cheap, big box store type tacos.
Some bean burrito, something like that.
It was
a good one.
It was the good stuff. So
well,
I apologize.
I'll never know the difference.
I just felt guilty sitting here.
I'm glad that you came clean with it.
You're the great guy. You're willing to help out all our people, and I'm just the husky section.
Guys got to eat. I get it.
Eat stuff. So
sometimes you order enough and you need a little more. But I have two thoughts, Adam. One, I got a question for you about taxes. The other, I think you should come up with. So we got your buddy Mark, who's not your dad's CPA.
Yes.
I think you should be like, I am your dad's enrolled agent or something like that. That should be your. I was your dad's. Now I'm your. I think you should some sort of a moniker. We have to come up with maybe a play on that.
A little play on words.
And secondly, so. Let's say you're planning some things like maybe a trip or something that's going to take part in the next year, but you bought it this year for your taxes, and you have all good intentions of doing some sourcing or listings while you're there. Do you claim that next year? Do you claim that this year? Things like that. How is that kind of a thing? Or you're buying entertainment, maybe your concert tickets or Rose Bowl perhaps, something like that comes up. How do you do that?
That is exactly why it's so important to have your numbers ready. And what I mean by that is I really try and look at my clients, especially their December, figure out what their income and revenue is, their expenses, to know if I say, all right, Derek, here's where you at. You have, said item that you purchased. Let's roll that into a cost of goods sold. Let's make that an inventory item. That's the best thing about accounting, Derek. I'm gonna throw this simple math equation over to you, and you let me know, and I'll tell you how it really is answered. Derek, what is 2 plus 2?
I've learned that you don't do math on live podcasts. I would say 4. I've been counting a lot, but it could be different depending on your math skills, I guess.
Well, in the accounting world, I could make that be 18 or negative 6.
I knew there was a trick.
There's always an opportunity with legal, absolutely in the ironclad IRS code, that allows you to kind of fluctuate those numbers between, hey, this is how I'm going to book some revenue, or this is what we're going to take as expenses, not take expenses. Do I need to roll some items into next year? I learned all of this. There's a place called I think it was Arthur Anderson, Enron. We used to do a lot of work with Enron.
I don't think you want to advertise that to get new clients. It's just an idea.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well, but no.
You and your buddy Zuck used to go over to Amron and have Taco Tuesdays or whatever.
Amron. You just mixed Amway and Enron together.
Well, yeah, the shoe fits.
So no, I mean that's a great question to have, and again, the right answer is it depends.
Bolo, you can't sell like Amway stuff though. If you know somebody that got into it and they're trying to get out, you can get. I mean, Google it and always scan and look at results. You might be surprised.
They do have the Amway Center there down in I think it's in Orlando.
Yeah, it's in Orlando. Yeah.
Anytime you can sponsor. Oh, speaking of, just happened today, the Crypto.com Staples Center. The Staples Center is no more. Now it's the Crypto.com vicinity where the Lakers and the Clippers.
They can call things whatever they want, but I'm always, whatever it was originally that I knew it as, we got the Salt Palace, the Delta Center, the David O. McKay Center where they play basketball up in Orem. These are things around me. We got Boston Gardens, Madison Square Garden. I don't know. Does that have a sponsor on it?
I don't think
Barclays Center will always be, I don't know if they'll get a new one.
Yeah.
And, Staples Center.
Yeah, it's weird because like the other day I was listening and they had like a game show of
Safeco Field up in Seattle
the
too.
old Safeco.
It's down T-Mobile Park or something. Oh yeah, I'll go as far as to say Safeco because they're different buildings.
Yeah, they were
Key Arena. I don't know if that's still Key Arena.
Yeah, I don't know.
We should do a quiz
where
on
the
this.
Kraken play.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Oh boy.
So you're a big Kraken fan as of a few weeks ago.
Let people know what that is.
Well, if they've listened, they've heard a few episodes ago when we talked about
it's the new Seattle
the
NHL
new.
team.
But you seem to be just jumping on new teams because a while ago you were a Vegas Golden Knights guy. I've had it pointed out to me that you might have been a fan, and now which team's which? Which one's your team?
Honestly, I watch about as much hockey as I do professional wrestling.
So quite a bit. So if you were to go to an event and you have to go pick your team, you have to wear a hat. Who are you going with?
Well, great question. Speaking of, I just got a new hat here. Unfortunately, I tried getting LASIK, and they told me I wasn't a good candidate, so I really don't wear hats because the hats sit on my glasses, and I just feel out of place. So
you're going to get a nice collared shirt, and you're going to sit in the suite with the owner. Which team are you going to?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I would probably say Vegas just because it's a little closer. I enjoy me a trip to Vegas, just like I hear you and the rest of the Husky section will be tearing it up this weekend down in Vegas.
Matter of hours, and hopefully we make it back to do another podcast. If not, it's been a good ride, Adam. Might be in prison or who knows.
Less than 24 hours from now, which means you'll already hear this. The Husky section.
I guess it won't be edited up if it does. If something happens, you'll never hear this.
The Husky section has got a real trip planned. Unfortunately, I am going to be at a different event helping children in wheelchairs. That's where I'm going to be helping take care of I'm
going to be helping adults in wheelchairs, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But a few episodes ago, we talked about it, but unfortunately, our audio quality was having some issues in the last couple episodes. Hopefully, we've resolved that, and you can hear all this. So
Derek's going to win us some money so we can get some new equipment.
Yeah, I'm going big or I'm going home, and I've already got my scheduled trip home. So.
So yeah, the Husky section, they're going to make a good trip down to Las Vegas. Hopefully, you know this isn't the last episode. It could be.
You never know. It always could be.
It always. The good part is no matter how much money Derek wins, we'll be doing the podcast for a while because if he's independently wealthier than what he is, wealthier.
I like how you did that.
He'll continue the podcast because his wife won't be able to stand him all the time, and she'll need a place for him to go.
A little break.
Yeah, so we'll still keep doing the podcast.
All right. Well, with that being said, Adam, I think there are two things in life that are for certain.
That would be Deathpiles and taxes.